This edition of Mac Voices is brought to you by SaneBox, the best way to take control of your out-of-control email. For a free trial and a $10 credit, visit sanebox.com/MacVoices. Welcome back to Mac Voices. This is the Talk of the Mac community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, the road to Macworld continues. This time, we have Mr. Steve Sande, who hasn't been here in a while. Steve, where have you been? You've been hiding.
Oh, I've been working. I guess that's probably the best way to say it. Actually, I thought it was kind of an interesting thing that you called me today, because I hit a milestone, and that's 2 million words of writing over at the unofficial Apple weblog.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, it surprised me because it just kind of, it seemed like I hit 1.5 million not that long ago, and apparently I've been doing a lot of writing lately. So
that's where you've been then, and that's good. I mean, I knew you were prolific, but man, that's a lot of words.
Well, it's been almost 6 years that I've been writing for TUA, so I guess it's not overly surprising there, but I don't know, just amazes me. You know, where does time go?
Yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. Well, one place it's going is it's slipping away from both of us, because pretty soon we're both going to be headed to Macworld for San Francisco, or for San Francisco for Macworld. Yes, you can. Yes, I'm a little stressed, folks. Don't know where I am, what I'm doing, but no, this time I'm kind of excited to see this session. You've done Siri sessions before, but this one is Steve, it sounds just a little ambitious. Siri's arms and legs, giving Apple's intelligent assistant the power to control your world. Wow.
Yeah, it sounds ambitious, and it really is kind of ambitious, because what I'm going to, I guess I'll do a spoiler here, but one thing I think I will be telling people is that even though you can use Siri at this point in time to actually control your environment, do things like, turn the lights on and off, open your garage door, various things like that, it's very limited, and that's one of the things I'll talk about in there. And then I go on during the presentation. There's a lot more about the home automation space and really how usable it is now from iOS devices. But getting in and giving Siri those arms and legs is really something that I think we're going to have to wait for Apple to open up the Siri API to developers, because right at this point, you have to do some workarounds. I guess that's the best way of putting it.
So, Steve, am I hearing you right? That sounds like you want to use Siri to control what everybody's commonly referring to as the Internet of Things.
Exactly, and it was something that I actually kind of stumbled upon maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, when we were, Erica Sadoon and I were working on the second edition of our book, Talking to Siri. And speaking of which, the third edition is like imminent. So if anybody hears that and thinks about going out to buy the book, don't wait until the third edition is out, please. But anyway, one of the things I kind of stumbled upon was the fact that I could indeed use Siri with some of the Belkin Wemo home automation switches to do some, certain things. It does require a workaround, and I'm going to keep that as a little bit of a secret. You'll either have to go to Macworld Expo or Macworld iWorld, and go to the session. It's on Friday afternoon at 3, I believe, and let's see, it's Moscone North 131. I've got that down. Wow, it's amazing. I'll forget it the day of the presentation. I'll probably be wandering the halls going, "Where's my room? Where's my room?" No, just kidding. But anyway, it was one of those things. I was just curious because I saw the Belkin Wemos. There are now a ton of other internet controlled switches that are out there. But I saw this device and I said, I wonder if there would be a way that somehow, some way, I could use that wonderful control that you get with Siri, and just converse with it and say, turn this light on, turn that off, turn on the fan, do this, do that, whatever, and have it work. And once again, like I said, I'm not going to tell the secret, but there is a kind of a fun and nifty way that you can do that right now. And I just, I've had a lot of fun with it. It's been, in fact, last summer for Belkin and for YouTube's Geek Week, I ended up doing 2 videos that really showed how to do this, and some of the fun things that you can do with Siri and those wonderful Belkin devices.
Steve, I find this really, really intriguing. It seems like I don't know whether people have the wrong expectations of Siri or not. My experience with Siri has always been, I would say, probably B+, A-. And maybe because I just have the right set of expectations. I learn one command, and I get to use it and learn how it works, and then I move to another one. And frankly, your book has helped me with a lot of the things that, I wonder if Siri can do that, and it can, as long as you use the right command. So mine has been pretty good. Sure, there are times it doesn't register and it takes a little bit longer than I wish it would, but overall, I find it to be an essential productivity tool. I'm forever telling Siri to do this, remind me of that, whatever, as I'm driving, which is the only safe way to do it, with an earpiece. So it's just, I guess I want to ask you, are we there yet with Siri? And it sounds like you are. No? Really?
No. And the reason I'm saying that is, we've got these wonderful tools that are starting to come out. And seriously, and no pun intended there, seriously, every day, it seems like anymore, I'm getting something from a hardware vendor or some software company, and they're saying, hey, we've got this great new Internet of Things device, this great new controllable device. Do you want to try it out? And of course, I don't turn them down there. I think it was about November, I was, looking at the local news, and there was a little article about some local company here in the Denver area that is working on a sprinkler timer that will be app controlled. And I saw that and I went, I got to contact these guys now. Their product is supposed to be coming out sometime this spring. So, I think we'll see it here shortly. I keep telling them, beta test. But, being able to do something like that, be able to say, I just realized it's raining at my house, because my weather station at my home is telling me that, hey, Siri, shut off my sprinklers tomorrow morning, and be able to have that happen. You can't do that right now. You can go in, you can do these types of things through the apps that a lot of these companies are developing. But there is that missing piece, that ability for the developers who are writing these apps to be able to go in and tap Siri's smarts, so to speak, be able to add certain commands to it. And I don't know if that's even possible. I'm hoping it is. I'm hoping that Apple is able to say, here's a dictionary of things that you can say, or here's how you add terms to a dictionary and allow your application to be used. And I think once they do that, and hopefully maybe they'll announce something like that at WWDC this year, but I think once they do that, this is just going to break wide open. It's, the things that now require either a workaround or they require, just using an app and not using Siri, will be able to do them. And that, you talk about adding a huge amount of power to your world. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about giving Siri arms and legs. It would really allow us to have physical control over our environment by voice control, which is, something I've wanted since I was just a wee little kid.
Yeah. So, Steve, this sounds, I see visions of Star Trek dancing in your head, and I'm right there with you, and I am. But there's another side, and I'll play skeptic for a change. do I really want Siri to be able to tell me, or excuse me, Siri to be able to control some of these things? If I'm lounging on the porch on Sunday afternoon, do I want someone to be able to say, Siri, turn on the sprinkler and, wake me up rudely? Is this a good idea? And what are some of the security concerns? Because this Internet of Things thing is happening, but in the rush to do it, we have to be just a little careful. And I would think with Siri, there's some advantages, but also some disadvantages, because you can get a copy of my voice pretty easily.
Yes, you can. And my voice, too. How many hours a week do you and I spend talking on air?
Saying words like...
widely available.
Saying words like unlock.
Yeah. Oh, no. Quick, edit. No, just kidding. But seriously, and once again, I'm using the term SERIOUSly, not Siri, SIRI. That's a very valid concern. In fact, not that long ago, Belkin, or actually some hackers came out and said, we've been able to hack the Belkin Wemo devices, and we could turn switches on and off. We know how to do it. Well, it turns out that by the time they made this public, Belkin had actually gone ahead and updated the firmware on all of their devices to kind of lock a vulnerability that they knew existed. So, yeah, there are issues. Yeah, they can be patched, but would that patch come too late? That's a little bit of a concern to people. That's also why I don't have any of the door locks or deadbolts that are available from companies like Kwikset and Schlage. You can buy those things. They're great. I think they're really cool. But I want to make sure that there's an extra level of security there before I'm going to, feel good about letting, my voice control that lock, or my location control that lock. Maybe Apple, if they do allow people to have that access to the API for Siri, perhaps what they would do is also tie that in with Touch ID and say, it has to be coming from a specific device, that vocal command, before we're going to actually go ahead and allow this to be done. That I would see as a almost foolproof security system. Of course, what do I know about security? But it's, that much in a world that's, infinite when it comes to that. But it's, I think it's good right now in terms of the security. I think a lot of people don't even realize that there are a lot of these devices available, that they're out there in pretty good numbers. I think once the hacker community, and we're probably making it known right now, once they're aware of this, they're probably going to start going out and looking for those devices and figuring out ways of getting in there. And the first time you have somebody whose home gets robbed or burgled, because they were, somebody went in and hacked their door locks and everything opened right up. That's when we're, that'll make or break the industry, how they respond to that.
That's an interesting way to phrase it, how they respond to it. Not that they accept blame or try to shift blame, but how they recognize that there's an issue here that needs to be addressed and how quickly they can move to address it. This edition of Mac Voices is brought to you by SaneBox, the best way to take control of your out-of-control email. For a free trial and $10 credit, please visit sanebox.com/MacVoices. We've been talking about SaneBox now for some time, and if you're not signed up, I hope you are at least in the midst of your 14-day free trial using sanebox.com/MacVoices to assure yourself of a $10 credit when you finally do sign up. And if you're not, you should. Otherwise, how are you going to appreciate SaneBox's other great capabilities? I've already told you about the Sane Later folder, which funnels off all but the most important email to a place where you can go and look at it at your leisure. And Sane News, the folder that aggregates your newsletters and mailing lists. And Sane Bulk for your receipts and reference emails. Now, let's kick it up another notch. SaneBox also gives you the Sane Archive to hold your oldest emails out of sight, but secure in case you need them. And the Sane Not Spam folder. Important emails rescued from your spam folder so you can be sure they really are spam. Want to store your email attachments somewhere other tine your email? SaneBox gives you the option of sending them to your Dropbox, Box, or CollabServe accounts. That gives you more storage on your computer and puts those attachments out of harm's way. Harm as in accidental deletion. And then there's the Sane Black Hole, where you put that email that you never want to hear from again, and you won't. Best of all, SaneBox learns about your habits, what's important to you and what's not, and sends incoming emails to the appropriate SaneBox folder or to your inbox. Or you can teach it about the important contacts in your life yourself. The deeper you dig into SaneBox, the more options and features you discover, so you can use it at whatever level you like. No matter how you use it, SaneBox will save you time and effort in dealing with your email. So stop putting it off. Sign up for a 14-day free SaneBox trial at sanebox.com/MacVoices, and then sign up for the service and get a $10 credit at sanebox.com/MacVoices. You're going to love it. SaneBox, the best way to take control of your out-of-control email. Thanks to SaneBox for sponsoring this edition of MacVoices. If somebody really wants to get into your home, you can have 25 deadbolts in the door, and they're still going to get in. So is it a matter of trying to make yourself less of a target, or just put up that extra little disincentive that, okay, just pass this house by and go find easier prey?
Yeah, the one thing people tend to forget is that people who, or I think a lot of the people who are putting in security systems like this, or locks that are controlled via your voice or your proximity or something like that, are also the kind of people who tend to put in webcams and different security items like that. I've got a full-fledged system in my house, and I have for, since 1984, so 30 years. It's like if anybody breaks into this house, they're going to hear a very, very loud siren, and of course the police get notified as well. But I think, if somebody just goes out and they say, well, I'm going to buy a couple of these door locks and, that's going to keep me secure. I think like everything, like backups, you want to make sure you have more than one backup of everything. One backup is not a good backup. I think it's one of the companies out there, IOSafe. They always talk about 3 levels of security or 3 levels of backup that you should have. And I agree with them. Make sure that you have various levels of backups and various levels of security for everything. Make sure that, somebody gets through one layer, they're going to have to hit another layer. Now, how this will be done, I don't know. And that's the big question there. I personally, I think it would be a great thing if you're working with a security app to set something up, you go in and, use your fingerprint. I'm sure we're going to start seeing those Touch ID fingerprint readers on a lot more devices here soon. So.
And when you start marrying Voice ID with fingerprint ID, I mean, you've gone. The security experts would give me a hard time if I said exponentially, but you're definitely improving your odds because yes, you can hack my voice, you can hack my fingerprint, maybe, so to speak, but it's to try to do them both. That's going to be just a lot of trouble. It's going to be a lot easier to go to somebody who doesn't have locks on the windows or whatever, and deal with it. So, just a lot of things that you need to think about before we enter into this science fiction world.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I look at some of the systems that are available now, where you can just go out and kind of pick up the pieces, so to speak, from a number of vendors out there. Smart Home is one. And I'm trying to think of some of the other companies that are out there. I've got them on my little presentation here. But you've got a bunch of companies that have these like proximity sensors, motion sensors, door sensors, moisture sensors, CO sensors, all these different things. It used to be that you had to call up a company and say, I want a security system, come out and wire my home and put it in. Then we started seeing some of their bits and pieces come out as wireless switches, things like window switches. When you open up the window, it says, "Hey, somebody opened your window. Do you really want it open?" It's cool that you're now able to buy these from a number of vendors pretty much inexpensively. I mean, $35 to maybe $50 a piece. You stick a battery in them. Yeah. It's easy to stick them to the window. They usually have a little sticky tape on them that you just use. And, suddenly you've got your own security system there. Is that any better or worse than a security system that you're spending a lot of money for? To be honest with you, I don't know. And looking at some of the equipment that you're now able to buy inexpensively, I'm beginning to think that I may be replacing our 30-year-old security system with the bits and pieces that I can buy out there. It just, it gives me control. It allows me to make sure that system is up to date. And not only that, right now, my security system can't tell me when something has gone wrong if I'm out of town. I can't get a notification that something's wrong other than, I think they've got my phone number so they could call me if I happen to be in Europe or Argentina or someplace like that. Maybe iffy if I'm ever going to get a call. I would love to be able to, go, "Oh, whoa, I just got, or Siri alerts me." That would be nice. Says, "Hey, somebody just broke into your home. What would you like me to do? Call the cops?"
Trigger the lasers, release the drones.
Yeah, release the drones. Well, you've seen the taser drones that just came out.
Sure. And yeah. You're waiting. You're on the beta test list for those too, aren't you? Yeah.
Oh, I wish. My cat would be very happy if I just didn't do that. But.
Steve, let's go back though to the session. Who is this session for? Is this for the home automation hobbyist? Is this for the average Siri user who wants to get more out of Siri, or is this for the people that are looking, 6 months to 2 years down the road that want to be able to talk to everything in their home?
Well, I kind of designed this as being something that both the home automation enthusiast would love, because they'd say, "Oh, yeah, I'm already doing this bit, but I didn't know you could do this." Or, "I didn't know about that app that, you just told me about that can do this, that, and the other thing." But the other thing is, I really wanted to be able to get it across to people that, first of all, there are ways that you can, really control things with Siri. It is possible today. But really kind of point out the potential for maybe that, anywhere from 6 months to 2 years from now, where we are able to use our voices to open up that world. Personally, from my viewpoint, and this is kind of off of the answer to your question there, but personally, from my viewpoint, I would love to see one of those new categories that Apple is, allegedly looking at. I would love to see that be the home automation market, because with what they have with Siri and what they have with the App Store and what they have with, wireless devices of various sorts, it would be a very, very powerful market for them to get into and lead the direction. Right now, there are a lot of companies that are going out there. Very few of them are using the same standards. Fortunately, there are some other companies that are coming in and saying, "Hey, we're going to make our device so it talks to all of these different, quote unquote standards that we have out there, which are all pretty much proprietary systems." So that's, I'd say that's kind of one of my overwhelming desires for the future, is that Apple would surprise us and say, "Guess what? We're going to control your home." I doubt it.
I doubt they would use that tagline.
Sounds good.
Yeah, but that's a really interesting point, and it's not one I'd ever really contemplated, the possibility of the home automation. Everybody's so intent on the media things that the home automation would be, that would be a real blindside shot to a lot of people.
Yes, it would. Well, and you can see Google already heading in that direction with the purchase of Nest. I mean, that was a absolutely, brilliant move there. There are a couple of companies out there, and I'm not going to name them, but there are a couple of home automation companies that if Apple went out and, spent a relatively small amount of money today, they could pretty much own that market. And, that could be a game changer.
Interesting idea. Well, it sounds like it's going to be a fascinating session, as all of them are, and especially when you're the one delivering them, because you not only stay on topic, but you also kind of push the topic forward a little bit into uncharted areas. So I would say that anybody, if you're a Siri user, go. If you're not quite sure if you should be a Siri user, go. Because it's sort of like, for me, Steve, I don't know about you, but for me, it's the whole trackpad, touchpad kind of thing. You saw it and you just know, okay, this is something I've got to learn to use. I can't continue to use a mouse. This is the future. And I feel that way with Siri, that if you're not using this even to its current potential, you're really falling behind.
Exactly. That's I'm teaching an iOS class here locally that's been really, really popular over at one of the community colleges. And it's funny because I ask people the first session, it's 5 sessions, I say, how many of people in here use Siri? And maybe I'll see 10 to 15% of the hands go up. Usually when I do my Siri session, which is the 4th out of 5 sessions there, I see people, their eyes just kind of open up and they go, I didn't know you could do that. And wow, it actually worked. I thought this was some sort of gimmick. And they're really surprised at how well it can work for them. So I agree with you. It's one of those things that I just saw as a game changer when it came out. I'm hoping that we see some other game changers with, being able to give Siri some physical control of our world in the future.
Sounds good. One more time for the folks. The session is when?
It's session CF853, Siri's Arms and Legs Giving Apple's Intelligent Assistant the Power to Control Your World. It will be at 3 p.m. At Moscone on Friday, March 28th, I believe it is. And I hope I've got the date right. And it's in North Moscone 131, unless they change it on me.
Yeah, and that's something we're telling everyone. Once you get there, mark your sessions down, but once you get there, check the signage, check the times, because things are in a state of flux, because Macworld, iWorld is constantly adding new things and rearranging our sessions. So, but we're all going to be there, and we're all going to give them, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
I can't wait. Yeah, I was going to mention one other quick thing. It's not related to Macworld, iWorld, other than it's at the location, but I'll also be giving a little talk about this book, Pitch Perfect, also written by myself and Erica Sadoun. It's really about, as it says, it's the must-have promotion guide for the app and hardware developers out there. But I'm going to be giving that talk for the folks at Drobo, at the Drobo booth. And that will be on Thursday, I think at 3 p.m. as well.
Oh, great. Thanks. I'm glad you said it, because I was not aware of that. So if you have a link anywhere for that, send it to me and I'll put it in the show notes, because that Pitch Perfect is a great book, and it's interesting. That'll attract a whole different set of audience, because that's for the people that have an idea for an app and want to get it out there. So good deal.
Yeah, it's been fascinating to see how many people have they'll make pitches to us at the unofficial Apple weblog, and they come in and say, by the way, I read your book and hope this works, that type of thing. They're not always successful.
But now the laser carrying drones, they'll be, they won't even have to pitch. They'll just ship it to you direct.
Yep. Hopefully.
Steve, it's great to see you. Thanks so much. I will see you in San Francisco, and we can both talk to Siri together.
Thanks, Chuck, and have safe travels.
You too. Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is MacVoices. He's Steve Sande. We're both going to be in San Francisco along with all of our other friends. We hope you'll be there to, if we haven't met you, to become our friends too. Until the next time, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for links, show notes, to subscribe, to connect with Chuck on Twitter, app.net, Google+, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Subscribe to our weekly newsletter, the MacVoices Dispatch, to stay up to date with all the latest MacVoices news from our front page or at macvoices.com/newsletter. Advertising and sponsorships handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com.